If you're struggling to get your first or next agency client, the problem isn't usually because you don't have enough services. It's because you're trying to offer too many services. Most people think the way to get more clients and to grow an agency is to offer more services, but it's actually the opposite. The boring agencies that quietly hit 30K, 50K, even 100K a month aren't running 12 different services. They're usually just running one, the same one, for years on end. I spent the first 5 years of my agency career chasing every new service that came out. SEO when SEO was hot, funnels when funnels were hot, then chatbots, then AI, then whatever the next thing was. And sure, I was busy, but I wasn't building anything that compounded. And I remember the exact moment when it clicked. It was a Friday afternoon in 2018, sitting in a small home office, looking at a spreadsheet with 7 different services that I was running for just 4 different clients. None of the columns made sense. One client was paying me for 3 things that I'd half finished. Another was about to cancel because I hadn't responded to their email in like 5 days. So I closed the laptop and I decided that I was going to just pick one service and then say no to everything else for at least the next 12 months. And that decision is still one of the most profitable ones that I've ever made. I've built 3 different 7-figure agencies, worked with over 1,500 small businesses, run thousands of campaigns, and today I do it all as a one-person agency with 0 employees. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3-step setup that turns one boring service into a flywheel that keeps spinning whether you're working that day or not. I'll show you the exact service to start with, the price to charge, and the one rule that keeps clients renewing for years. I call this the flywheel effect. Most people who try to build an agency get into a really specific kind of trouble. It usually looks like this. They pick a service, let's say website builds. They get a couple of clients. Clients are happy, things are going all right. Then a client asks something like this. Hey, can you also help us with social media? And because saying yes feels like they're making progress, you say yes. A few weeks later, another client asks, hey, can you also handle our Google ads? Well, same answer, yes. And before you know it, you're running websites, social media, ads, email campaigns, maybe SEO too. 5 different services, 5 different things that you have to learn, 5 different things you have to deliver, 5 different things you have to manage. And when something breaks, well, now your day looks more like a fire drill and you're less profitable and less productive than you've ever been before. But when you do one service really well, you can charge $300 to $500 a month for it. Takes you maybe an hour a week to deliver, and that client renews for years. On the other hand, when you're trying to do 5 different services at the same time, something breaks, and something always breaks. I mean, sure, you may charge more up front, maybe $1,000 a month, but now you're spending 15 hours a week trying to keep all 5 things running. And after 2 or 3 months, the client cancels because none of those things are working great. So instead of making more money, you worked more, but earned less. That's not building a business. That's building yourself a second job that pays you terribly. And yet, pretty much every single beginner that I've ever worked with does the second version of trying to do more things for more people. And they all think that they're growing. But let me tell you a quick story. Actually, let me show you. This is the Bridge Drive-In in Winnipeg. People call it the BDI. My mom used to bring me here after Little League games when I was a kid. I came back today for the first time in years, and it's just about as busy as it was back in the 90s, even though it's freezing cold and raining. Here's the thing about this place. There's no upsell funnel, there's no complicated sales sequence, and they haven't really changed the menu in almost 70 years now. And yet, it's still one of the most well-known places in town. And that's what running one thing for years on end does for you. And I mean, the ice cream is good, but let's be honest, it's probably not the best ice cream in the world. It's just that it's become famous and people are willing to drive across the city for it, or in my case, drive across the country. Their competitors keep adding fusion flavors, keep changing the menu, keep trying different TikTok stunts. The BDI just sells ice cream. And that's the move that I want you to make with your agency. So here's the system, and I call this the flywheel effect. There's 3 parts. You install it once, and then you deliver it hands off, and pretty much never have to touch it again. But I'll walk you through each part now and show you exactly what to set up, what to charge, and what the client experience is from their end. Before we go any further though, you need to pick one service that you're going to run. Now, if you've already got something that you're doing like web design or social media content, you can stick with that. But if you're just getting started, or you're looking for something better that's easier to deliver and has higher profit margins, then the simplest service to start with by far is automated review requests, also known as reputation management or helping businesses get more reviews. And here's why. Almost every local business out there needs more Google reviews, and they know they need more Google reviews. They just don't have a system to ask their customers consistently. So you set up a system for them that automatically asks after every job. Let me give you a real example though. Mike runs a plumbing company called ABC Plumbing in a town of about 80,000 people. He's been in business for 12 years. His work is great, his customers love him, but Mike has only 31 Google reviews. Meanwhile, his main competitor across town has 247 reviews. Mike isn't worse at plumbing, he just doesn't have a system that asks his customers for a review after every job. His competitor, on the other hand, does. That's the only difference. So you install that system for Mike. After he finishes a job, the system automatically sends a text to that customer asking for a review. Mike doesn't have to remember, you don't have to remember, the system just works and the customer gets a text. And the number on his Google profile starts to climb. That is basically the entire service. Now let me explain why this works as what I call a fix-it job, because this is the part that makes the whole model click. You don't need to be a marketing expert, a guru, or have years of experience. You're simply going in there, installing a system, and getting paid. Just like a lawn guy mows the lawn, a window washer cleans the windows, a plumber installs a sink, you're the fix-it guy, or fix-it girl. You go in, you fix one specific thing, and they pay you every month to keep it fixed. Except, unlike plumbing or mowing lawns or anything like that, your job gives you a couple of really unfair advantages. For example, you get to work from a laptop, a kitchen table, coffee shop, hotel room, wherever you are. You don't get dirty, and unlike the lawn guy who's got to drive back every week, or the window washer who has to keep coming back to clean the same windows over and over again, you install the system just one time, and then it keeps working, week after week, month after month. So that's part one. Install once. Inside the software I use, the entire setup for a review automation takes maybe 10 minutes per client. You connect their Google profile, you pick the message that gets sent after every job, you hit save. When you open the dashboard for the first time, there's a left side menu. The reputation tab is where this lives. You click on the review request settings, you paste in the client's Google Maps link, and you write the message that gets sent after every customer interaction. Most people overcomplicate this message, so don't do that. Here's exactly what to write down. Hi, contact first name. Thanks for choosing business name. If you have 30 seconds, would you mind leaving us a quick review? It really helps us out. And then you insert the Google review link. You save it, that's it for setup. The rest of part one is making sure the system actually triggers after every customer interaction, which is one button to enable. The total setup time per client is about 10 minutes, which feels suspiciously easy the first time you do it. Part two is delivery. This is where most beginners think that the work actually starts, but it doesn't. The work is already done. You see, once the system is on, every customer that Mike sees automatically gets the review request a few hours after the appointment or the job or whatever he's working on. Mike doesn't have to remember, you don't have to remember, his receptionist doesn't have to remember, nobody has to remember. The system just does it. And here's what the customer experiences from their end. Hi Sarah, thanks for choosing ABC Plumbing. If you have 30 seconds, would you mind leaving us a quick review? It really helps us out. And then of course, the review link. And just like that, they get a text on their phone, they tap the link, they leave a review, and the whole thing takes them about 30 seconds. And to stay compliant amidst Google's recent changes, you don't write the review, you don't pick which customers get asked, you don't filter anything. Every customer gets the same message with the same direct Google link. That part's important. Every customer, same message, same link. Part three is the part that nobody talks about because it doesn't sound like an agency service, because part three is never touching it again. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but hear me out here, because this is where the flywheel actually starts spinning. Once the system is on, the number of reviews on Mike's profile are going to start to climb, usually right away. And by week 3 or 4, that trickle becomes a flow. And then 10 reviews become 20, then 20 become 30, and so on. And here's what happens when Mike sees his reviews go from 31 to 80. His Google ranking goes up. He starts showing up in the map pack, those top 3 results that get most of the calls. The phone rings more. Mike, of course, notices, and he pays you again next month without even having to think about it. The flywheel is reviews leading to higher rankings, leading to more calls, leading to more business, leading to more customers, leading to more reviews, and the system just keeps spinning. You're not pushing it anymore, you're not putting in any more effort, you just set it up once and then the wheel does the rest. Now, I need to be straight with you about the part that most people worry about, which is, what if a client asks a hard question that I can't answer? What if something breaks and I don't know how to fix it? Or what if I look like I don't know what I'm doing? Well, here's what I wish someone had told me early in my career. The delivery is the easy part. You set this up once in 10 minutes, and the software handles every text, every link, every customer interaction after that. If something breaks, and it almost never does, the support inside the software fixes it for you. You don't have to be the one that's fixing it. Also, Mike doesn't need you to be a tech expert. He just needs the reviews to keep coming in. And they do. Most people who fail to make this work aren't failing because the service is too hard or too difficult to understand or too complicated to deliver. They're failing because they keep adding new services every 2 weeks instead of letting that first one compound. Anyway, eventually, after around 90 days of this system running, Mike's going to see his phone ringing more, he's going to see more customers coming in, and he's going to ask you what else you can help with. Well, that's a different video, because for now, I want you to focus on this. With just one service, Mike, at $300 a month, that's $3,600 a year from a 10-minute setup. Sign 10 of those and you're at $36K a year in recurring revenue from about 100 minutes of total install work. Now, stretch that out. Month 18, month 24, month 36, and you're not building a business that pays you, you're building one that keeps paying you. Same 10 clients, same one service, just more time, and that's just basic math. And here's the part that makes this just so incredibly durable. Once the reviews are flowing in and Mike's seeing the phone ringing more and he's getting more customers, he's not going to cancel a $300 a month service that's responsible for his ranking. I mean, the minute he stops paying, the new reviews stop coming in and his ranking starts slipping back to where it was before. In other words, canceling means watching the system unwind in real time. Now, the reason I can show you this entire business model in like 10 minutes is because every piece is already built. The review automation, the customer message template, the Google integrations, they're all sitting inside the same software that I run my entire agency on, and it's called High Level. If you want a head start, the link below this video opens an extended free trial plus my Agency OS. Agency OS is the version of the dashboard that I've been using for years. It's preloaded with the review automation, the customer messages, the trigger settings, all of it. You import this just once and your dashboard looks like mine instead of an empty screen. So tap the link, the trial opens immediately, and you can have your first review automation running by the end of today. Okay, I've got 3 warnings for you before you go run this on your first client. Warning number 1. You're going to feel this urge to add a second service before the first one is even producing real results for your first client or your next client. But again, don't do that. The flywheel needs at least 60 to 90 days of running clean to start spinning fast enough that the client notices. If you add in a second service in week 3, you've just doubled your work, but halved the proof that you're going to get. Warning number 2, you're going to be tempted to customize the message and the timing for every single client. But again, that kills the model. The whole point is that the same setup works for every business, a plumber, a dentist, a hairstylist, a restaurant. The message changes by maybe 2 words for each one. Don't reinvent it for each one. Boring is the feature. Warning number 3, you're going to feel like one service isn't enough for a real business. Well, that's the same instinct that makes most agency owners stay broke, stay stuck. The agencies that quietly compound for years and years on end are running one boring system, but they're doing it across dozens of clients. They don't have 5 exciting services across 3 clients. That's, again, how you stay stuck. Now, if you want the same setup that I just walked you through, the high-level link is in the description below this video. Free extended trial, Agency OS, templates, all ready to install. And if you want the full step-by-step on how to build and scale an AI agency from scratch, how to pick a niche, how to find your first clients, how to stack services and scale past 10K a month, I put together a free masterclass right here that's going to walk you through the whole thing. Anyway, feel free to tap or click that now. I'll see you in there in just a second.